So former Red Sox great and current Twitter maniac Curt Schilling has announced that he is going to challenge Elizabeth Warren for her Senate seat in 2018. You know who Curt Schilling is, right? Maniac. And he's been fired for his bad tweets. He had an anti-trans tweet, and then he says, "I've made my decision." He said, "I'm going to run, but I haven't talked to Shonda, my wife. Maybe maybe before you announce your run for Senate, you run it past your wife. Maybe."
She's going to ask where you've been.
Yeah.
You left town for a few days. What have you been doing?
So what do you know anything about Curt? I mean, I just know
Curt,
about his crazy tweets.
This is an example, an offshoot of the Trump candidacy, where if you're crazy and you're loud, you get to be treated like a candidate. I mean, Schilling's had everything. He's had the transgender stuff. He's had the racist stuff. He's been fired from ESPN, bankruptcy with some weird investment thing he did in some network, steroid suspicions when he played back when they were looking at all the hitters for steroids. He was one of the few pitchers. They were like, you kind of bounce back like Superman. What's going,
Getting better as you get older. That's not supposed to happen.
I think we're going to have a lot of these. I think we're going to have a lot of these loud
like this
voices.
Like the Trump wing of the...
Right. It's like, oh, it worked. It worked. Oh, so if I can be loud, if I can tweet crazy things and sort of get this crazy base behind me, and then I'm just speaking my mind, there are people who are going to follow you. And Curt Schilling is a big enough name. He's famous enough to start doing this and have people right away follow him.
I am really afraid that Alonso is right about this one, and I do think he's right. I mean, there was a Republican president, it was Nixon or Reagan, who appointed somebody who everybody agreed was mediocre to the Supreme Court. The guy didn't make it, but the defense was, well, mediocre people deserve representation too. So they've had their time. Now it's the time for the right-wing, idiotic, racist, moronic, nasty, hateful troglodytes to get representation in Congress. And I'm deeply, deeply afraid this might be their time.
I don't think it'll be their time, but I think they're going to make noise. Chris Rock said something one time that I thought was really insightful and brilliant. He said that, these loud, angry white men, like they're in their death throes. Like this is their last chance, so they're making the most noise right now because they know they're done. And Curt Schilling is one of those guys. It's ridiculous, right? But you also look at the news, like we were talking about earlier. Why do they cover Trump? Because you get a lot of hits online. In the old days you'd say you sold a lot of newspapers. Now it's all about online and stuff like that. If you publish Curt Schilling's craziness, people are going to read it. People, whether they like it, dislike it, be like, wow. You believe what he said today? It's what they do, and that it's the reality TV world we live in. What the more ridiculous and louder you yell, the more chance. So will we have Curt Schilling running against Kanye West? Who knows?
And I didn't mean to say, by the way, that I thought that Curt Schilling would win when I said it's his time.
I know what you mean.
It's his time to infect my mind with the disease that is his existence. That's what I meant.
I think there will be a wave of Trumpians at the local level.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, everywhere. They're the school boards and city councils, and this is the start of it, right? This guy.
Moron.
You're going to see. I think you're going to see that, and what I hope happens is that it really fractures the Republican Party. So Trump is already doing that, right?
Oh yeah, I think that.
So right now you have people like Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House in his home state, doing a rally for another Republican, getting booed. The Speaker of the House in his home state getting booed at a Republican rally. So that's happening right now. And some people like Nicole Wallace are saying that this damage that Trump is doing to the Republican Party could be a generation long with women. And so I think that while people are freaking out about Donald Trump, I think we need to look at the positives. And the positive of Donald Trump is he is destroying the Republican Party, and no one disagrees with that. No one disagrees with that. People disagreed with me when I said it before, but nobody's disagreeing with it now.
Well, they created him. I joke about it on stage that this is Godzilla, right? If you remember the old
Sure.
Godzilla movies, what'd they do? Kept dumping toxic waste into the ocean, and then suddenly a radioactive monster came out. Well, if you look at the Republicans, just look at the Tea Party. You remember the Tea Party
Yes.
and all that crazy? Well, you were spewing all this hate, and then they're like, oh my God, a Donald Trump. Well, yeah, you created that, you know, and
For sure.
a friend of mine who is what I call the reasonable Republican, you know, the old-fashioned businessman, right? Lower taxes, will not pay his employees as much or not be forced to, et cetera, et cetera. I was like, you don't have a horse in this race anymore. There's no reasonable, like you're not allowed to be a reasonable Republican anymore. You know, he's the kind of guy, he's not yelling about, you know, gays getting married or transgender people going to the bathroom. He's trying to run a restaurant or a store, you know what I mean? That guy, gone. He may be back, but right now that guy has no voice.
I completely agree with you. And I've said, I haven't called him Godzilla, I've said he's the id of the Republican Party. That he's not for your friend necessarily, but for just all those people who've been using the code words for, well, we got to tighten up on this immigration. We know what you're saying. Oh, you know, all those ghetto problems. We know what you're saying. You know, he is their unspoken thought. His offense is not what he thinks. His offense is that he says what's too many of them think.
And they got mad because this was supposed to be coded. This was supposed to be dog whistle. He wasn't supposed to be saying it out loud. And when he started saying it out loud, they were like, uh-oh, wait a minute.
Right. Shh. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
2 out of the last 3 RNC chairmen have apologized for the Southern strategy. What is the Southern strategy? It's using racism to win elections. That's what the Southern strategy is, but you don't do it outwardly like Trump. He's supposed to be dog whistling and he's supposed to be doing it subtly, and so you can't call him on it, but he's breaking the mold and he's just saying it, and they're like, oh, you're screwing us all up. So, and for them to all pretend that they're outraged at Donald Trump when they're still doing the Southern strategy is amazing to me, right? And you see guys like Colin Powell, for even a couple years ago, saying that, you know, there's a lot of racists in my party and there's a party of race. What do you think about a guy like Colin Powell, as a black guy, being a member of the Republican Party?
Well, you know, Colin Powell is I think it comes from the military background.
Yes.
And he's in the military. Now, he supported Barack Obama.
Yes.
I think Colin Powell, they did.
Both times.
They stuck him out there and then hung him out to dry. And he was mad about that, you know. I have a harder time understanding Condoleezza Rice than Colin Powell. Colin Powell has said, like, look, I ain't with this anymore. This is, you know, I was a military man. I gave them military advice. They didn't listen to me. I'm done with this. Condoleezza Rice stayed on board, and I've never understood that, you know. And then you have people like Michael Steele and Herman Cain and Ben Carson. And, you know, I always joke that, you know, when you see a black Republican, they're not real. They don't actually exist. They're, you know, it looks good, but
even Charles Barkley.
No, but if you're black and you want to get on TV, go to the Republican convention. They will focus right in on you.
I went to the Republican convention, and my favorite thing there, all the T-shirt vendors, I mean, all of them, all the street black people.
That's right.
And these brothers were making, and I said, listen, and he was like, listen, last month I was selling LeBron T-shirts.
Right.
Today I'm selling Trump. And he said, next week there's a gay pride rally. I'm making money. And what was funny about it was like, you don't like these black people, but they're exactly what you're talking about. These are entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Taking advantage of a business opportunity. Like, you should embrace them. These are true Republicans in the sense of, you know, creating business, pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. And I loved it because they were urban street hustlers.
Yeah, those aren't entrepreneurs. Those were on-Trumpreneurs.
The whole 2-hour podcast of the Young Turks,
you're gonna get it
if you become a member. TYTnetwork.com/join.